Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. Welcome back to all my lovely regular viewers, and if you're new to my channel, welcome. So surprise surprise, it's another Glitterbels tutorial, but today it's going to be a St. Valentine's one. So I'm going with all the green shades that I showed on my last video of the green swatches, and the nail tips that I'm using are from Nailed by Lucy. I will put the link in the description box below. So for a change, I'm using sugared almond. I normally never use sugared almond solely because I think on my own nails, I think it makes them look really pale and like not a healthy nail bed colour. So it's not one of my favourites, but I do like to show all the Glitterbels core powders. So this is sugared almond. So again, remember my regular viewers, you will remember that I caught my middle finger in the door of my oven, but it is slowly but surely growing out. So I'm starting out on the little finger and on the pointer finger, and I'm doing an extended nail bed. Always when I'm doing an extended nail bed, the first bead that I place down is the bead that I would call my smile line bead. So I'll shape that as much as I can with my brush before it starts to set. And then once it's fully cured, I will go in then with my hand file and just sharpen up that smile line. So I'll wait until the first bead has started to mattify, and then that way I can go in with my next bead and build up the nails. So because it's a core powder, I will be building up my apex as well. So for the purpose of this video, I did go ahead and put the same nail tip on my little finger. But those of you who are my regular viewers, you will remember that I got quite a bit of my nail bed ripped off on Valentine's Day whenever my husband accidentally kicked my finger. So I probably won't be buffing it in quite as much as I would the other nails, because I will be taking it off as soon as they're finished. Moving on now to the ring finger, and this is going to be a full coverage of the Snowdrops White. Even though the Snowdrops White is a core powder, I still will go in and I will build up my apex and will cap the nails in glass slippers. The reason I do this is just to protect the white, because sometimes the white, when we're wearing jeans and just general doing household duties, sometimes they can start to discolour. So just to protect that colour, I go ahead and cap it in glass slippers. So in with my cuticle bead, and I'm going to be working fairly wet. As you can see, I have my finger pointed downwards and I'm just pushing that bead of acrylic up towards my cuticle. So by holding my finger downwards, it means that gravity is doing its thing and keeping the acrylic from flooding into my cuticles and my sidewalls. So I'll always do my clean up around the cuticles and sidewalls first before it starts to cure, and then if I find that it needs some more placed up at the cuticle area, I'll go in and place as many beads as possible. You don't always have to work on like a 3-bead method. You work what's comfortable for yourself, and you know, take into consideration the room temperature, etc., because the warmer the room, the quicker that your acrylic is going to set. So it might be better then for, if that is the case, to work in smaller, wetter beads. And then if you're working obviously in like an air conditioned room, sometimes you can work in larger beads because you do have a little bit more playtime with it. You can see that I look at the nail from all different angles. What I'm checking for is to make sure there's no shadows in the colour and that there's no obvious lumps and bumps on the nail. So as I said earlier, I will go in and cap the Snowdrops White only because sometimes certain chemicals can start to stain it. Onto the middle finger now, and I'm going in with Forbidden Forest, which is this gorgeous deep green colour. So it's going to be a full coverage of this on this nail. So back now to the pointer finger and to the little finger and the extended nail beds. I'm getting in with my Glitterbels metal board file just to really sharpen up those smile lines so that whenever I put the colour up against them, they're going to be nice and crisp. I will go ahead as well and do the smile line on the little finger, but because my little fingers are so dodgy with arthritis, it's just a little bit awkward for me to do it on camera. So back now to the little finger. So you can see I've sharpened up that smile line, and I'm going to in with, I think this is Pistachio. No, it's highlighter green. So I'm going in with highlighter green just up to one side of that smile line, and then I'll take my little craft knife and just cut a straight line going right down the centre of the nail. Before I go in with my little craft knife, I have dipped it into the acrylic powder just to make sure none of the acrylic will stick to it and I'll get a nice clean cut. So you want to wait until your acrylic has started to mattify, and then that way you'll know once you start to go in and cut it, it's not all going to come away. As I've used my little craft knife just to cut a nice clean edge, I'm going in now with my second colour, which is Sarah. It's one of the premixed glitters from Glitterbels, and it's this gorgeous emerald green. I'm not bringing the highlighter green and the Sarah right out to the side walls because, as you can probably see, I'm creating another smile line, and then I'll go in, I'll crisp that up before I go in with any more of my other colours. Moving on now to the pointer finger, and this is Pistachio. So I got the two of them mixed up, but Pistachio has a little bit of a shimmer into it. It's almost like a pearlescent, so I'm just placing it up against that smile line and blending it down ever so slightly towards that free edge. So I will go in with some of the Fairy Crush just to add a little bit of glitter to this nail, and then I'll do some encapsulation. how gorgeous is this fairy crush with that pistachio? I'm not going to bring it all the way down to the free edge. I kind of want it to fade out into a glass tip. Onto the thumbnail now, and this is going to be a half marble nail, which is kind of what I tend to do. I like a half marble nail with like an ombre of a core powder going over the top of it. So I'm doing it in the 3 bead wet method. So I'm going to pick up a ball of each colour and place them more or less one on top of another, and then I'll use the tip of my brush just to create that marble. Now that I've done the marble on the thumb, I'm going to go in with the sugared almond. So as usual, I place it just before the cuticle area and push it back, tuck it in around that cuticle area and the side walls, and then to bring it down over the marble nails, I'm just doing like a firm sweep just to make sure that it is kind of blended out. Then to finish off the thumb, I'll go in with some of the Fairy Crush and a little bit of Broken Gold, which is my absolute fave, just to add a little bit of sparkle to this nail. So here is the Broken Gold. You can't have an Irish St. Patrick's Day set of nails without a little bit of gold. As we all know, at the end of every rainbow, there's always that pot of gold. I'm going back to the little finger now, and I'm going to cap over the Sarah and the highlighter green just so that I can really sharpen up that smile line before I go in with the next colours. Back to the pointer finger now, and I thought I would go in with some of the Broken Gold, but whenever I put it on, I just didn't like the look of it, so I have taken it all off again. While I'm waiting on the glass slippers to cure on the little finger, I'm going to go in and cap the rest of the nails in the glass slippers. I'm only going to show this thumbnail being capped though, just because they're all done in exactly the same way, and just to keep the length of the video down for you guys. Now that the glass slippers has cured, I'm going to go in with my hand file just to crisp up that smile line, and then I'll go in with my other colours. So moving back now to the pointer finger, and I'm going to go in and do a 3D encapsulation of a shamrock. So a shamrock is very similar to a 4-leaf clover, only it's made up of 3 leaves. And if you look at any pictures of the shamrock, the leaves almost look like little hearts. So that's the shape that I'm going to create out of this forbidden forest, and then I'll encapsulate it all in the glass slippers. So I'm going to let you go ahead and watch me do these little shamrocks. In some parts I do add some extra little beads of the acrylic just to create the hearts, and I'll be back just after this shamrock is finished. Back again now to the little finger, and I think it looks like I'm playing musical chairs here with the nail beds, but it's one nail here, one nail there. So I'm getting in with Forbidden Forest, and I'm just butting that up to that smile line. I will do the same as what I did in the top part of the free edge, and I will cut it right down the centre as well using my little craft knife. Next colour I'm going to go in with is the Pistachio, and that will make up this little grid effect that I'm doing on the nails. All that's left to do now on the nails is to go ahead and cap them all in the glass slippers and to encapsulate that little 3D shamrock in the glass slippers. I'm only going to show one of the nails being filed in shape just to keep the length of the video down for you guys. Now that all the glass slippers is cured, I'm going to go ahead and do my normal filing routine. So I always start at the side walls, making sure they're nice and straight. And you can see now I'm going to the lower arch. So I like to make sure that's nice and straight and coming out in line with my natural nail. Then I'll go to the free edge and make sure that's nice and straight and the shape that I want it. So I'm using my Glitterbels metal board file, so that helps me get those super straight lines and those really, really sharp edges. So I do also go in with my 5-in-1 e-file bit just to get that cuticle area really, really flush. So you don't want to have any ridges or anything from where the natural nail bed ends and your acrylic starts. You want to make sure that you get that really, really flush, and that's going to stop the nails from lifting. After I use my e-file, I always go back in again with my metal file just to make sure those edges are super, super straight, and then I'll finish off with my buffer. Oh my goodness, shoot me now. I forgot to hit record when I was doing that first shamrock, but I caught on, thank goodness, and you can see me do the rest of the nail with these lovely shamrocks. So I'm alternating the colours between the Forbidden Forest and the highlighter green. These little shamrocks are going to be kept raised. I'm not going to encapsulate these ones, so I'm going to let you go ahead and watch the rest of the video, and I will come back at the end. I'm sorry that sometimes my middle finger gets in the way of this, but I do try and keep moving my hands about so you can see most of it being done. So now that I've got all those lovely shamrocks done, it's time for top coat time. And as you can see, I had to go and get a little cup of tea, a wee cup of tea, just for me to finish off these nails. So you can start to see that glitter just start to come to life, especially the fairy crush that's on a few of the fingers. So all that's left to do now is to finish the top coating and to add some rhinestones. So I'm using my rhinestone glue from Tenator to adhere my rhinestones. This is absolutely amazing. It's like cement. Whenever you come for a maintenance appointment, I literally have to pry them off with nippers because they are stuck so hard. It's the best one that I have found so far. So all I'm left to do is to do the little belt of the leprechaun's jacket. So I'm just taking my black gel paint and just painting a broad black stripe right across the nail. And then I'll go in with some gold gel paint and do a little buckle. And here is the finished set, guys. I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, you know what to do. Give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, you go ahead and do that now. And I will be back with another video. So take care. See you soon. Bye.